Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's McKay, and I've always known three things. Number one, I love people. Number two, I love helping people, specifically men, to become the best versions of themselves. And number three, I love sports. By no means am I an expert in any of these categories. I just know I know what I love, and I've always tried to figure out how I can better tangibilize those things and create some sort of a platform or a community that allows me to talk about and experience those three things. So, welcome to Dudes and Athletes, or DNA. So, this is a podcast, social media platform, and community centered around stories, sports, and empowering men to become the best versions of themselves. So, like I mentioned, I am by no means an expert in any of those areas, but I do have the fortune of knowing a lot of amazing people that are in those spaces. So, this platform is meant to accomplish a few things. So, number one, we're going to have an audio podcast that I'll be releasing consistent episodes on. And those podcasts will typically feature a guest that I bring on to chat about a number of different topics. So we're going to focus on anything from therapy to trauma healing to entrepreneurship to fatherhood to storytelling to athletics to anything in any of those spaces. And my main focus on and priority with the podcast is to hear people's stories. I love hearing about what people have accomplished in their lives, things they've overcome. We all have a story to share, and everyone has certain passions and things that they're good at. And I'm so excited to learn more about other people through the audio podcast format. We're also going to be doing a lot of social media content and visual video content along with the podcast content. So in that space, we're going to be recording the podcast in video format as well. And my, again, main focus with that is I want to create content and help facilitate the creation of content that helps to empower men to become better versions of themselves. So I, for one, am far from a perfect person. I've made my fair share of mistakes. I've done my fair share of things that I regret, and I'm always trying to figure out how I can be a more authentic version of myself, and how I can learn and grow, and just figure out more about who I am and what I want in my life. These video and audio recordings will be focused on that. I've learned a lot from people that I have in my life, and I have had the fortune of meeting so many people who are good at different things. So we'll be bringing on podcast guests and creating social media video content on anything in those spaces. The last aspect that I want to focus on is community. So I've always sought after and tried to find a community of men specifically that empowers each other, that allows each other to feel emotion and feel passion, that allows for empathy and authenticity. I feel like in our world right now, and for a long time, our world has struggled with a healthy view of a number of different things, but specifically what masculinity is. So part of my purpose here is to destigmatize and break down stereotypes of what it actually means to be masculine and be a man. I want to normalize feeling emotions and having passions and being authentic and true to yourself. I want to normalize doing what you love. I want to talk about what it is that women want from us and what they need and what they expect. And again, I am by no means an expert in that space, but we'll be bringing on people who know way more than I do. We'll be talking to women specifically and experts in certain fields around that to learn more about ourselves and each other. I have such a passion for being passionate and feeling emotion and living the best version of your life and growing. Um, I also want to break down the stigma of um, getting help and therapy and healing. Um, I've again had the fortune of meeting a lot of people, my wife specifically, who was really good at diving deep and figuring out who they are and what they want and what truly matters to them. And they do have done so in a number of different ways, whether it's traditional therapy, where you learn to open up and talk to someone, whether that's energy healing, body code, emotion code, anything in that space, whether it's working through traumas that you're either currently going through or that you've experienced in the past. So, through all those different modes, I want to help um, create and foster content that allows men to be the best versions of themselves. In addition to that, I love sports. I love everything about it, the competition, the passion, analysis, the flow of a game. I just love everything about it. And sports are one thing that can bring a community together when we have a million reasons to disagree. So, on that side of things, we're going to be doing things like going to games. We're going to be doing stadium tours. We're going to be putting on group events where we can go to games together. We're going to be dissecting controversial topics. In that space, I'm going to be focusing on interviewing coaches, players, broadcasters, anything in that space. And so my primary goals with this platform are, number one, to have a podcast, an audio podcast, where I bring on guests to talk about a number of different topics. Number two, we're going to have a social media platform, more of a visual aspect, where we will feature content from the podcast, but also go out and about and do different videos and different content there focused on anything in that space as well. And then we're going to be chatting about sports. So I love everything in that space, and we're going to be fostering a community here that's focused on healing, growth, passion, emotion. And I'm really excited to get started. So welcome to Dudes and Athletes, a place and a space for stories, a space for healing, and a space for sports. Let's go. We have a liftoff. I have a